And welcome back, ladies, gentlemen, gungans, George, whales, krakens, minnows, planktons, whatever you might be, to YouTube's favorite show. Hit me with the win or fail. Where you're whaling, you're failing, and if you're failing, you're probably whaling. Thank you, everyone, so just stopping by. Yes, I'm your host with the Summer Smash Hit. Fix your game! Available on all music platforms, and I think last time Gary checked, your local radio station will be playing it all summer long. May or may not. Heavy on the may not, but nonetheless, today the question's gonna be, the CG may or may not, okay, that's not a good segue into, may or may not open your wallet for today's latest psychology lesson in bundles. I know, people, there's a question going around. Are these new Energy Ascension bundles, as well as down below, the Ability Ascension bundle, worthy of your moolah? They're kind of a little weird. And speaking of weird, the first weird thing to point out, well, if you're in the Galaxy PC closed beta, you can't find the offers in there. So you have to go on a mobile device to access these offers right here. Long story short, these are pretty good. Obviously, they're not gonna be Lightspeed bundles. You need to kind of get the Lightspeed bundle mentality out of these offers, because Galaxy Heroes, here's how their offers work. You got mostly garbanzo bean offers. I'm talking crap like this. Master and Padawan gear bundle, absolute trash. And then you have the light bundles on the whole other spectrum, which is amazing, crazy value, but it's just like a mermaid that like randomly pops out of the ocean. You don't know when it's gonna come, and you don't know how pretty that mermaid's gonna be. So in the middle, we rarely get reasonable non-Lightspeed bundle offers. And I think these Ascensions, as we're gonna break down, are gonna be worth the money if you wanna loosen some purse strings a little bit. Great opportunity to get Zetas, Omicrons, and more importantly, lots and lots of energy for a relatively good price. So here's how they work. From my free-to-play accounts, make sure I don't buy the tiers on here knowing me I'm gonna forget. So I'm gonna count on you guys in the audience to make sure I don't forget. Number one, you get 100 free energy. So even if you aren't gonna spend money, get it. It's 100 free energy to start off the whole tiers that they got. So hey, on the upside, even if you aren't spending, you're getting something for nothing. So that's the first thing you gotta take into consideration. So here we go, opening up the pack, and boom, 100 energy. And the other pack starts off with not as crazy of a start, but but as you can see, we unlocked a new offer here. So Gary, give me some nice calm music, but we're gonna wait. Let's get to the Ability Ascension that we have. Doesn't start off as great. 10 Mark III ability materials. Free stuff is free stuff, but generally you don't really need those. You're probably swimming in those unless, I don't know, you played the game like 2 days ago. But as you see, once you get that free offer, subsequent offers start popping up, and they kind of show you the little trajectory that you're gonna be embarking on for each of these tiers. So as you can see up here, now we're running into a 199 offer, which gives us 500 energy and 50 training droids, which who the hell cares about those? And then it moves on to the next tier of 200 Cantina energy, which you get for free. And then you hit the next threshold for the bundle. And as we can see from this graphic that we're gonna show here, it kind of breaks down all the different tiers, so you don't have to guess on what the next tier is gonna be. So let's go ahead, bring all you fantastic people over here and show you this nice little breakdown graphic that Gerbil did, and I will show you my will or fail breakdown on whether these are gonna be worth your money, honey. So bring them on over. So big shout out real quick, round of applause to Gerbil for making a nice, easy graphic on the eyes here. And as you can see, Gerbil broke down all the individual tiers that you got. And as you saw in the Energy Ascension, you start off with some 100 energy, and then eventually it's gonna break you down to the next tier of 199. You gotta go and unlock the 500 energy, then you get a free tier, and then it moves down. Then you can see the Ability Ascension tiers as well. And before we do the wheel or fail breakdown on all this, I wanna just address this. It's kind of odd. Every time there's a pack that comes to the game, there's doom and gloom. It's like, oh, I got a bad feeling about this. Lightspeed bundles, if you wanna have a bad feeling about an offer, if anything, it would be Lightspeed bundles, because the people are like, wait, is this the end of the game? They're just giving everything for $10 at this point. Remember, it's a mobile game. It's got to make money. And let's be real. Realistically, for this first 6 months, there really hasn't been anything to spend money on unless it's Lightspeed bundles. So this is, I think, is going to be a good offer for people that want to get energy to maybe work on their Galactic Legend tickets or their farms, or maybe hoard up for special additive drops that go on in the games. I don't think there's really any bad feeling to get out of this. It's a free-to-play mobile game. It's gonna make money somehow. So this is nowhere near as bad as those crazy, what was it, like $300 Omicron offers or something like that. So just want to get that out of the way. So took Gerbil's graphic here, and I kind of broke down all the different costs and valuations of these individual items, taking advantage of the Whaler Fail spreadsheet. We don't get to use the spreadsheet that much because I really feel like on average, the offers are trash in this game. There's no need to go over them. This one I think is definitely worth going over. So basically, the way I looked at this whole Ascension bundle, where you go to the next tier and the next tier and the next tier, it's just an overcomplicated multi-bundle thing, kind of brought together, banded together as one. I guess the upside is you can kind of call it quits at some point if you're like, yeah, the next stuff doesn't really make sense to me. So I think that's maybe the upside to all this. So I want to first start off with the energy Ascension bundle. This is going to be great to get a lot of energy. Basically, my recommendations for this energy Ascension is maybe you want to stop before you do that $4.99 pack, unless you're starving for Omegas and you're starving for mod energy. I think if anything, do the $1.99 tier, do the $2.99 tier. You're going to get a lot of energy. As you see the breakdown, the energy Ascension bundle will give you 1,350 light side, dark side, normal energy, 950 canteen energy, and then, there's some other stuff like, the training droids and all that stuff, which I'm not too keen about. So here's my breakdown in terms of the crystal evaluation and the US dollar evaluation here. So assuming you're going to buy the whole entire thing, which as we see, it's about $9.97 US dollars. The question is the entirety of this Ascension bundle worth it? Well, as you can see, let's look at the one. If you're going to give a value to Omegas, for me, I don't think Omegas have that much value, but if you're someone starving for Omegas because you're buying Lightspeed bundles or all this other stuff, I can see Omegas being a slightly more valuable. But for me as an end gamer, my free-to-play, which does not get Lightspeed bundles, Omegas aren't a huge problem. So I'm just going to do with and without, so you can see if it's worth your money. As you can see, from the energy alone, that's 562 crystals for the normal energy. For the Cantina energy, you're looking at about 792 crystals worth of energy. And if you go all the way to get the mod energy, that's 416 crystals worth of mod energy. Now, Omegas, if you go check out my Whaler Fail spreadsheet, the problem is Omegas, Zetas, and Omicrons. That's going to be very subjective value. So I'm kind of adding my personal value on it. You might value Omegas higher. You might value Omegas lower. Or the way I'm going to do it, I'm just going to cut out Omegas completely. As you can see, I value one Omega material at about 100 crystals at best. Or actually, yeah, about 100 crystals at best. So that's the question. Do you value that to be 100 crystals? You might value it to be 50. You might have no value. Or you might value it a lot more. So nonetheless, the problem is there's going to be some subjectivity here. So if we're going to go with my valuation, it's about 1,000 crystals worth of Omega mats, and then 220 crystals. The Mark III ability mats, training droids, I hate when they do this. It's just, they make it look like you're getting a lot. I don't remember the last time I had a training droid issue, when I was maybe like level 10 to game. Training droids, Mark III ability materials, I don't really think they have any value, so I'm going to cut that out. So if you're going to just buy the entirety of the pack, which is going to be 2,990 crystals about, and if you do a low crystal per value, low dollar per crystal value, and a high dollar per crystal value, depending if you buy like bulk in the game crystals or just buy little crystals here and there, you're looking at this pack being somewhere between 19 and 23 US dollars, which is about double the value of the 997 that it's asking for. However, if you don't find Omegas to be worth the money, you don't think they worth any crystals, I do a non-Omega analysis at the very bottom here, where you can see the pack is about $12 to about $15, or $13, $16 if you want to round up a little bit here. So still, there is a positive valuation, but by no means is it going to be like the greatest offer of all time. If you're going to want to get a lot of bulk energy right here, right now, because keep in mind, there's a time aspect to this, right? I'm giving you the crystal valuation, but remember, that's over a couple days worth of energy. You get it right now. Remember, there's a time value to money. You'd rather get the $100 now than $100 a year from now, right? You want to get advantage of it right now. So that's the upside to all this. So this is a whale if you need a lot of energy right here, right now. I might be buying this for my main account, but again, I don't know if I'm needing the mod energy. So if anything, I would stop right before you do the $4.99 paid tier for the energy Ascension. That's just my opinion on the matter here. But let's get on to the ability Ascension, where this one I'm 1,000% buying for my main account because Omicrons are kind of hard to come across. in this game, and almost every new character has one. Then the legendary and then the conquest characters, they're always needing 3, so we need a lot of those here. Or if you need Zetas as well, that's where this is going to be coming in handy. So take a look at the nice little pretty graphic that Gerbil made here. If you buy the entirety of this pack, $997 US. 110 Mark III ability materials, who cares? 30 Omegas, you may or may not care about that. 15 Zetas, most people would care about that. 6 Omicrons, 220 crystals, 1.25 million credits, which again, I don't really want to give too much value to the credits. So let's go break down all of this over to the far right-hand side here, where the Mark III ability materials, I give no value to that. 30 Omegas, again, what do you value Omegas at? It's a very subjective thing. Personally, I don't really have too much value on them, but if I'd say on average, maybe 100 crystals, that's going to inflate this by a 3,000 crystal value. But as we're going to see, we'll do a non-Omega value in case you don't care about those. Zetas, what are Zetas worth? Well, the game has these anchor pricings to make you think Zetas are crazy expensive, these old offers that I absolutely hate. For me, on average, I think it's about 300 crystals per Zeta mat. And you can value that lower, you can value that higher. So I'm going to kind of fudge the numbers. If you value Zetas lower, we'll show you what the math looks like here. It's all going to be a bit subjective. So if you think it's worth that much, 300 crystals per Zeta, you're looking at 4,500 crystals worth of Zetas. 6 Omicrons, how the heck do you value that? We rarely see them. Then they have these crazy offers with like $200, $300 worth of Omicrons, which is cracking food at that point. For me, I'd say, all right, maybe 500 crystals per Omega material there. Again, maybe lower, maybe higher. For some of you folks, 220 crystals, 220 crystals, 1.25 million credits. If you want me to give a value, probably about 625 worth of crystals. So overall, you're looking at about 11,345 values of crystals here. And then if you convert that to US dollars, you're looking somewhere between $72, $89. So obviously, that's going to be a whale. But if you go down and you start stripping away, let's say the Omegas, and you don't care about the Omegas, which I get. I personally, I'm not going to buy this for Omegas, but some of you guys, Lightspeed bundles, you're probably starved on Omegas and Zetas and Omicrons, all that fun stuff. If you take away the Omegas, you're looking at about $49 to about $60 of value. So still pretty great. But we're going to mess with the numbers a little bit here. Let's say you do not value Zetas or Omicrons nearly as much. Let's go show you what that looks like here. So we're going to go cook the numbers here real quick. So Zetas, as I said, I'm giving about 300 crystals worth of value for each of them. But let's say you only value Zetas at like, I don't know, maybe you're super aggressive and you're saying, hey, those are only worth 50 crystals. In my opinion. So that's 750 crystals right there. And if you don't think Omicrons are worth 500 crystals per piece, again, highly subjective. Let's say you think that too is only 50, which I think it'd be more. Actually, let's round it up because they're not the same as Zeta materials, right? Don't you love trying to give value to a fictitious economy that doesn't exist here? So here's what you're looking at. I'm taking a very aggressive approach to the Zetas and Omicrons. Now you're looking at about 1,570 crystals worth of value. So that puts it about $10 to $12, which would be breaking even. And again, that is a very extreme, being very aggressive on minimizing the value of Zetas and Omicrons, which I would argue they're not worth 50 crystals a piece or 100. I think they'd be a little bit more given the scarcity within the game. So nonetheless, again, this, I know people are gonna say, oh, this isn't a Lightspeed bundle. It's not a Lightspeed bundle. And that's why Lightspeed bundles really stick out, because those are insane value. It's hard to compare this to that. It's apple to orange at this point. Ignoring Lightspeed bundles, we haven't had a normal offer in the game. We used to have like a Karatech offer, which is kind of like the better one that was there. But really, there's not a lot of reasonable offers in this game. And even myself, I don't really buy any offers in this game except for the characters. You don't get a lot of value in this game. But if you are looking for value, I do think these two are good. And speaking of that Ability Ascension bundle, and unlike the Energy Ascension where you can maybe skip out on the last pay tier, I think this one you kind of want to go to distance, because that $4.99 tier, that's when you get six more Omicrons from the paid and free tier, and then 10 more Zetas, and maybe you want the crystals, credits, and the 15 Omegas as well. So that's my take on the matter. I think overall these are gonna be a solid whale. If you're looking to loosen some purse strings, I think this might be a good way of spending a little bit of money to get some value in the non-Lightspeed bundle agenda. Again, Lightspeed bundles, we all know those are a big deal. Just like my friends, you guys are a big deal as well. So let's go ahead, bring them on back, my friends. Everybody, put your hands together one more time. Thank you so much for stopping by. And always, remember, you know the drill, my friends. It's great to be in the Empire today.